Hey everybody, welcome to our Wednesday edition of the Sales Mastery Training. My name is Mario Delgadillo out of Dallas, Texas, and today we are going to talk about comparing index annuity income riders and DIAs, which are deferred annuities, index annuities. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to start with a quick video that will illustrate everything. And I do have to take my headphones off because whenever I show you guys a video, but I'm on my headphones, it doesn't show properly. So hang tight, guys. All right, so let me go ahead and share the screen. Can you guys hear me okay? Yeah, okay, good. All right, so this is Stan, the annuity guy, or Stan, the annuity man, if you've not seen him before. He's really good. But let's go ahead and get into the information. About 11 minutes, take good notes, and we'll take it from there.
Welcome to Shooting It Straight with Stan. I'm your host, Stan, the annuity man, America's annuity agent, licensed in all 50 states. Today's topic is comparing fixed index annuity income riders to deferred income annuities, DIAs. And we get this a lot from a questioning standpoint, which one's better? As I always say, with annuities in general, I don't care what type you're talking about, each and every one has its benefit and limitation, good and bad. So let's go over that. Let's start with the deferred income annuity first. A deferred income annuity is nothing more than an immediate annuity, a single premium immediate annuity that you defer past 1 year. So with a single premium immediate annuity, the grandfather of all annuities, in the developed in the Roman times, that's where the word annuity comes from. Annua means payment in Latin. Deferred income annuities is when you ask the two questions: what do you want the money to contractually do? When do you want those contractual guarantees to start? Anything past a year, an immediate annuity magically turns into a deferred income annuity. Now, the positive about the deferred income annuity, there's no moving parts, there's no annual fees, there's no market attachment. It is a straight transfer of risk product for lifetime income. You can use it inside of a IRA. It could either be a DIA or a QLAC, which is a deferred income annuity that you use inside of an IRA. I've done videos on that. We'll go down that rabbit hole. But a deferred income annuity can be used in Roth IRAs, non-IRAs, IRAs, etc. So it doesn't matter which one, the income coming and derived from the deferred income annuity is going to be taxed based upon what type of account you have it in. But let's look at it from a contractual guarantee standpoint. It is a stripped down transfer risk pension product. You can structure it your life, joint life. You can structure it just a period certain or a combination. You could do life with an installment refund, or life with cash refund, life with period certain, or joint life, all of those above. There's 40 plus ways to structure. If you go to my site at theannuityman.com, you can run DIA quotes all day long. We have the best DIA calculator on the planet, quoting all carriers. It is a rigid contract. So when you buy a deferred income annuity, you have ripped the knob off the water faucet. You own it. So in other words, if we ask the question, what do you want the money to contractually do, and when do you want those contractual guarantees to start, and you say, I need to start past 1 year, we're going to quote deferred income annuities, okay? Now, in a non-IRA standpoint, the income has what's called an exclusion ratio. It's a combination of return of principal plus interest. So if you're getting back your principal, you're not paying taxes on it in a non-qualified account. In an IRA account, it's all taxable. But getting back to the liquidity part, ripping the knob off the faucet, let's just say you wanted the income to start in 5 years. You can't get your money back. There's not, well, I don't want to do that anymore. Send me my money. You're going to get it, but it's going to be in payment form. But again, there's 40 ways to structure it. Life only, life with period certain, life with installment refund, life with cash refund. We will explain all of that to you. I've written a deferred income annuity owner's manual you can get for free. We've done tons of videos on it. But just think of this. It's an efficient, no cost, no fee, transfer risk pension that you can defer 1 year out to 40 years. Now, you say, wait a minute, Stan, why would you do 40? Like for my daughters who are in their 20s, they have deferred income annuities that I purchased for them that start way in the future because I'm not sure Social Security will be there for them. Plus, I want them to have a pension. And even if they like me or don't like me, that money's going to hit every month, and they can just cuss me out as the money's hitting their bank account. So deferred income annuity, it's a great product. The other thing you need to know about it is the big boys play there. The big carriers, I'm not going to name the names, but you know who they are, the AA plus, they offer deferred income annuities. So if quality is what you really want, if you really want the top tier type A double plus carriers, deferred income annuities where you're going to land. Okay, so that's deferred income annuities. Let's talk about income riders attached to index annuities. So income riders ride on top of the policy. You don't have to put it on an index annuity, but at the time of application, you can choose to attach an income rider for future income needs. Now, currently at the time of this taping, that's the only way, pretty much 99% of the time, that we're using indexed annuities. We're using it as a cost-effective and efficient delivery system for that income rider guarantee. The income rider is a separate ledger. It's monopoly money, but in other words, you can't cash it in or transfer it, but you can use it to determine your lifetime income stream. So that's a good thing. It's a flexible contract, meaning that you could get to the end of the surrender charge time period and you can say, send me all the money back from the accumulation value, the index value, not the rider value. So you can pivot. It's a pivot product. Also, too, with indexed annuities, most, not all, allow a 10% free withdrawal of your money on an annual basis. But understand, if you do that, then you're going to disrupt the contractual guarantees of the income rider. You just can't take 10% out of the accumulation value and not disrupt the income rider. So I know that's being said out there occasionally. I just think that's agents that really don't know what they're doing. But if you take money out, it's going to affect the income rider guarantee, but it does have liquidity. So let's do kind of a side-by-side. Also, too, one last thing. The income rider that's attached to the index annuity has a fee for the life of the policy. And typically, it depends. There's so many different ones out there. It can range from, say, 0.75% up to 1.5%, 2%. And that's something that you need to look at, and we will help you with during your due diligence process. So let's look at the fees on it, okay? So indexed annuity with an income rider has a fee for the life of the policy. That fee is not taken out of the income side, it's taken out of the accumulation value side, okay? I know I'm throwing a lot at you. You might want to listen to it a couple times. The deferred income annuity has no fees, period, end of story. From a flexibility standpoint, the indexed annuity, the income rider, is flexible. Couple flexibility points. You can take out typically 10% annually with most index annuity, not all, but it's going to disrupt the income rider because you're taking money out of the policy. The deferred income annuity, no liquidity, none. Okay, you've ripped the knob off the water faucet, period. From the standpoint of a taxation, I don't do taxes on because I'm not a CFP or a tax lawyer, but just basic 30,000-foot view. With a deferred income annuity in a non-IRA account, there's going to be some tax preferential treatment of that income because remember, it's return of principal plus interest. So you're only paying the interest portion. When you run the quotes on my site with Diaz, you'll see that if you put in non-qualified with the income riders last in, first out. Okay, so I'm not sure that's a reason to buy Diaz, etc. But it is for some people. It is, But I think that when comparing, you got to compare. You need to quote both. We'll quote both for you if you engage us and set up a time at theannuityman.com. Not one's better than the other. The first filter, I think, should be which one provides the highest contractual guarantee number. Period. Well, I mean, that's where we are with all of this. Annuity for what it will do, not what it might do. When you look at contractual guarantees of the policy, you've commoditized the product. You shop all carriers for that. Okay, so that's the first thing. Second thing, claims paying ability of the carrier. Okay, for lifetime income, I have a rule. My team follows it. A+ or better for lifetime income. Okay, so it's got to be rated A+ or better for lifetime income. And so could there be exceptions? Maybe, but they better run it by me. Okay, but A+ or better, you don't need a sweater. How about that? So that's the first two things that you look at. And then I think the third thing is the flexibility. Do you need potential flexibility of that money? Some people don't. Some people want to go with those blue blood companies that offer the deferred income annuities. And I think the fourth thing to consider are fees. I don't think fees should play into it. Number one, deferred income annuities don't have fees. And number two, the fees coming from the income rider are taken out of the accumulation value so it doesn't disrupt the guarantee of the income rider payment. Okay, so let's go over that again. And when you're comparing them, you can do it yourself. You can engage us and set an appointment, or you can run the quotes yourself. Run income rider quotes, run deferred income annuity quotes. First filter, who provides the highest contractual guarantee? Not the potential, hypothetical, theoretical, we don't do any of that. It's who provides the highest contractual guarantee. You know, who's got the, A+ or better, you gotta look at the ratings. Then you look at flexibility, whether you need it or not, or potentially need it or not. Okay, those are the three, and then fees, I don't think should even play in it, but those are the four things. And then I would, read the income rider book. I would read the deferred income annuity owner's manual book that I have up there. I would pull up the videos that are specific on those two products that I've done. I'd have a conversation with us and my team. They're not high pressure. You're going to make your decision on your terms and your time frame. But in essence, what you're putting in is part of your income floor that's going to combine with Social Security and a pension if you're so fortunate, or whatever income producing items are hitting that bank account every single month. And there might be, it's not an and or, it's a and maybe this other. You could do one or the other. You could do, you want half in a VIA and half in a in an income rider and hedge your bet. But a lot of it comes down to who provides the highest contractual guarantee, and if it's A+ or better. And if it's a substantial difference, there's no need to split it, period. Remember, they're contractual guarantees. You own them for what they will do, not what they might do. Once again, I encourage you to dig deep. Go to our site. I have the books, Deferred Income Annuity Owner's Manual, Income Rider Owner's Manual. You can do it VIA calculators till the cows come home, as they say in the South. You can do income rider calculators till the cows come home. We provide all of that for free under no obligation. No one's going to call or show up at your doorstep. And then you can engage with us and set an appointment.
All right, so he's just going for a pitch right there to get y'all to buy his product and join his class. But I always watch Stan's content, really good. Sometimes it gets a little heady, but the thing that really sticks out to me, guys, is it's a very simple process. It's a very simple contract. The best way that I describe a fixed index annuity is I tell people it's kind of like a promise to pay contract between the client and the insurance company, right? So think of a fresh white sheet of paper. And the client says something like, well, I'm looking for no fees, an income of this much. I'd like to be able to try and get as much, this, is there any bonuses? And then they submit it to the insurance carrier. The insurance carrier says, no, we're not doing that, but yes, we'll do this, but actually we'll give you that. So the idea is conceptually, it's almost like trying to find the right promise to pay contract for your client, right? Based on what their, objectives are and what type of bells and whistles are being offered by the particular company. So real quick, let's do a round robin. Anything that you learn, anything that's new, aha moments, anything like that. And then we're going to jump into an actual client scenario. So let's start with Eddie. Did you pick up anything out of there, Eddie?
Oh, shoot. I do like the that you can use the DIAs with any IRA, because I don't know, I'm new to it, so I'm like, okay, I don't know what we can use it for or how we can use it and what we can roll. So
a fixed index annuity, guys, is an IRA. Okay. So what you guys have to understand, and the best example that I give to people is a fixed index annuity. Think of it as the vehicle, and the IRA is the engine. So at its core, it's still an individual retirement account. Okay. Because that's all IRA means. I remember way back when I used to think IRA was like a specific product, right? IRA is an acronym. It stands for individual retirement account. So there's a lot of things that are IRAs, right? Basically, what's not an IRA? 401k, because it's an employee-sponsored retirement vehicle, right? What's not an IRA, okay? What's not an IRA is like a participating whole life product, because it's an insurance product, right? Oh, Lord. All right, so good. Patty.
Sorry, driving. the deferred does not have liquidity, and then the index annuity has more flexibility, and you can get 10% out of your annuity, but it's going to affect the projected income rider, right? I get that right? Okay.
So yeah, deferred annuity has liquidity. It's just after year 2, right?
Okay.
So starting at year 2, and typically the rule of thumb is you do get access to 10%, but you do limit your ability to access the funds. Now, one of the things that I say actually in the presentation is, so think about this. Let's say, I'm 43. I'll be 44 on Tuesday. Holy crap, right? So 43 years old. I've got money in certain areas, right? But because of my age, a lot of times I just look at it as these are investment pools, right? This IRA is money that I can use to invest. I can use to double it. I can use to put it into a business, right? I've got some money here, right? When I'm talking to somebody about a fixed index annuity, I tell them I need you to start conditioning your mind to say, hey, that 401k is not investment money. That 401k is what you're going to take to convert into an actual income. This is an income product, right? So yeah, some of them you lose liquidity, but that's the purpose. The purpose is to build that retirement income. And again, there's so much flexibility in them, but there are some products where when you're talking about guaranteed income, right, with a rider, it's very transactional, meaning I could come up with a check, right? Here's my checkbook, right? I come up with a check for $500,000. And it's like, hey, Patty, show me what I can buy in a guaranteed income for 500,000. That's very transactional, because if I write you that check, you're keeping that money. I lose the account value. I lose the opportunity to grow that money because I just bought an income with it. That's one type of guaranteed income. But then there's another type of guaranteed income where you actually do not lose the account value, right? So, but you can flip on a guaranteed income when and if you need it, right? So for instance, I have a client right now, and he's let's say he's 8 years older than his wife. And so he's going to retire in 5 years. And in 5 years, he wants to get a guaranteed income, right? But in the interim, during those 5 years, he's like, so I don't have access to the money. I said, no, actually, you have 10% access to the money from year 2 to 5. Okay. So in those years that you're not flipping the switch and turning on the rider, you still have 10% access to the money. But if you deduct money, right, then it does impact the amount of money that will become your guaranteed income when you decide to flip the income. Now, positive and negative, right? Because if you deduct money, it could bring down the amount. But then the following year, if the market just explodes, right, then it goes up again, right? But there is some flexibility. So on one side, it's very transactional. Here's my 500K. I lose it, but I gain the income forever. On the other side, I still have the ability to earn money and have access to money. But if and when I ever want to flip on the guaranteed rider, it starts right there. Okay. So there's a differentiation between that. Thank you, Patty. Priscilla.
This is the area that I love. I'd like to watch him a little bit more because I like to learn just more of the language and everything. But the income rider, that was the new one that you had even taught me with that one product, and that's been helpful in conversations with clients, like asking what their actual goals are and getting them to say it out loud. So like I've had one client in particular, he's like, I would rather have an income rider and understand there's a fee with it because I don't want to be a burden as of today to my children. So
Yeah.
like just different goals, but it's not stuff that I would have known before us kind of talking about it. So
Yeah.
I want to listen to him more just to learn more of the language. Appreciate it.
Cool. Jacqueline.
Hello. The main thing that stuck out to me was that there's no fees associated with it. And I liked how he put it in terms of like you could set it up now and then cash in 40 years when he talked about his daughters. So that was also like something that stuck out to me. And pretty much that he's saying it's like a top tier product.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely. How knowledgeable do you feel? Like scale of 1 to 10, where are you at in regards to fixed index annuities, period? Is this all brand new to you, or do you have a good understanding on it?
Um, maybe like a on a scale, maybe like out of 5, maybe like a 2. I
Okay.
just know that you pay into it and then you know, you get paid in the future and then there's different types. Just kind of like that. Yeah.
Okay, no problem. Just trying to gauge it. Thank you. Clint, I know this is absolutely brand new, but did you pick up anything out of this?
I was going to say the same thing as Jacqueline. The thing I took from it was the zero fees. Again, this is all so new to me, so a lot of it is just like. So I tried to take what I could out of it. To be honest, I'm just trying to take in the lingo and the verbiage as much as I can.
Okay, no worries. Appreciate it. Tony.
Yeah, man. With the deferred, I mean, the cool part about it, you can transfer the risk, between 1 and 40 years. And what I did like about the income rider is that it's lifetime, and you can, take out, up to 10% annually, but it does affect the income rider as well. So they both have some benefits. It seems like having the rider on there is a greater benefit than not having it at all.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great point to make. But there's a way to figure that out for clients, right? Sometimes it might not be, right? Sometimes, and I'll give you a scenario, right? So we always kind of derive our recommendation from their particular situation. So in a situation, it just goes like, whether it be through a pension, Social Security, VA benefits, right, or whatnot. Let's say they've got 10 grand in guaranteed income already, right? And their fixed overhead cost is $2,000. Would you say that they're pretty darn good with their guaranteed income? Like their income yeah, they're pretty good, right? So in a situation where, like, let's say this same client had $600,000 to roll over, okay? Without knowing what the income is going to be or whatnot like that, would you say that this client needs more guaranteed income? No. What he needs is he needs to protect his money. He needs to grow his money, and he needs to do it without fees, but then also know that he has 10% access, because 10% access to 600,000 is 60 grand, right? So in his scenario, I would say, let's not pay for a guaranteed income, because that's 1.25% of your money every year if you don't need it, right? So, well, how do you know if I don't need it? Because you have 10 grand a month coming in like on clockwork, and you only have a $2,000 overhead. Plus, without having a rider, you still have access to 60 grand a year should you need it, right? So in that situation, no. But that same client, Tony, I've had, and he'll be like, no, I just feel better. Okay, if you want to pay 1.25, here's your guaranteed income. So now instead of 10,000, he's getting, 13,000 a month, and that makes him feel better. Totally fine. But there are situations where I think what's cool about this, guys, is as I talk to clients, I think it actually helps me build trust with them, because I always say to them, guys, I'm not about spending your money if it's not necessary, right? I don't want you to pay fees if you don't have to. So I've had guys ask me, well, how come you didn't give me a guaranteed income rider? I said, to be honest, I don't think you need it. He's like, why? And then I shared with them that scenario I just shared with you, and they're like, oh, I mean, if you want, I could flip on a 1.25% guaranteed income rider for you that you don't necessarily need. Or you could just have access to 10% every year and combine that with the $10,000 that you have coming in like clockwork, right? So, and I think that when I do that, people are like, oh, cool, this guy's looking out for me. He's not trying to get me to pay fees for no damn reason, right? So you're right. Yes, sometimes it's a no-brainer, Tony. Like, yeah, why wouldn't you, right? But sometimes it doesn't make sense for them. But again, that's why we go through the motions and we see all the clients. There's so many different scenarios. So appreciate you chiming in, Dan. Thanks, brother. So I know you usually jump off after takeaways. We still got some training to do. Isabel.
So I've never used income writer, which I would like to learn more about. But for example, would you say, I know my annuities have been like smaller, you know, like 90,000, 75,000, or so. So I feel like if I start adding fees to a policy that's that small, but yet that's the only pension that they have, you know, it's kind of like a give and take as well when it comes to that, when the policy's smaller too.
Right.
So I've never done an income rider, but maybe, you know, if the opportunity arises, I mean, it's always good to kind of have that guarantee.
Yeah,
for,
sometimes it is. Sometimes it is good to have the guarantee because, like you said, they don't have a lot of money. So we want to, ooh. Hold on. Sorry, Jacqueline, that's you. Are you going to be getting mobile right now? Is that what you're jumping in? Okay. So sometimes having the guarantee and increasing that as much as possible with a smaller amount makes somebody feel better, even though it's a 1.25%, or it's actually not even that. On the accelerator plus 10, the guaranteed income rider is only 0.95%, which is really good because the industry standard for guaranteed income is like 1.15 to 1.25. On the accelerator plus 10, they give a 0.95%, so it's a little cheaper. But you're right. Sometimes if they don't have a lot of money and they're afraid, because to your point, like they don't have a lot of money, so if I'm charging them, it's like, dang, they don't already have a lot and I'm charging them. But at the same time, if they don't have a lot and there's a downturn, they're freaking screwed, right? So sometimes they're willing to pay the rider to just ensure that they never go down and they got a guaranteed income, right? So again, that's where just figuring out what their risk tolerance is and what they want to do is most important. Okay. I know Nicole's at work. Thanks, Isabel. I know Nicole's at work. I don't know if you can type in or you can chat. This is in your wheel well right now as you're buying broom leads. So hoping you're able to pay attention at work. And then Myra asked through chat, can you explain a little more what the income rider does to the product versus not having the income rider? And that's what we're actually going to do next. So Nicole, it sounds like you can't chime in. Do me a favor when you get a chance, chime in through chat. So listen, this is what we're gonna do. I'm gonna show you guys an FNA that I recently built, okay, with a client, just so you guys can know exactly what we did and why. And then I'm gonna show you two different scenarios. So just like the Queen Bee always likes to point out when I send her FNAs, yes, this is chicken scratch. So this goes to show you that you can be a seven-figure earner in this industry and not know how to spell and have poor penmanship. Okay, so this is Bert Hood. He actually is a contractor for NASA out in Houston. Isabel, you probably know this. NASA's out in Houston area. A lot of contractors out there and a lot of money out there. So he's 65 now. He'll be 66 in 9 days. Actually, within like 3 days, he'll be 66. He's retiring soon in October. Okay, or retiring in August, maybe October. Okay, that's of next year. That's important. He's divorced, but if he were to pass, his stepkids are going to be his beneficiaries. He's got 5 grandkids. Pretty simple client. He's got $533,000 in a 401k. And again, he's 66 now. He's not planning to retire for about maybe just under a year. This is important. They're giving him a 7%, or he puts in 7%. They give him a 3% match. He has about a $2,600 loan debt to pay off on it, which is really nothing. Okay. He's renting right now. He's in a senior living facility. And when he got divorced, his wife took the home. So that's why he's in a senior facility. He's got some insurance through work, but this is the key. So right now his income, net income from his job is about $6,084. His fixed overhead costs are $2,747. Now, when he retires, his Social Security benefit will be $3,200. So the idea here is, that's why I wrote 401k. I've got to fill the gap, right, with anything else as much as I can with his 401k. Does that make sense, guys? Okay. So Let me show you any questions on this first. Anything before I go away from here?
How much longer did you say he's working?
He's going to retire in August, maybe October. Okay.
Of next year.
Yeah, 2025.
Okay.
Okay. So first thing that should tell you is, man, maybe a deferred income annuity might not be a good fit for him. Why? Because he's going to retire inside of a year, and it looks like he's going to need immediate income from this product, right? So the Power Accumulator 10 makes you wait till year 2. So he might not be able to be a good fit for that. That's just like was the first thing that came into my head. Okay. So now, anything else? You guys have any questions? Anything else you're seeing here? Okay. So let me go and I'm going to pull up a couple of different scenarios with him. Actually, what I'm going to do is this. Pull them both up. Boom, boom. All right. Let's go full screen. Boom. So what I did, guys, can you see both of the illustrations? So what I did is I drew up the Power Accumulator 10, the Flex Accumulator product. Now the Flex Accumulator is where I started, okay? And actually after talking with him, we ended up doing 400,000, okay? I don't know if you guys can see that, because he wanted to hold 100 grand because he wanted to like pay off some debts. He wanted to do some things. Hold on. Flex Accumulator, yes. Yeah, you were right, Isabel. So he wanted to hold some cash back, so he said, let's just do 400, okay? So both of them are going to be showing 200 or 400,000. And what I did is, first off, you can see here that I went balance asset 10 index 1 year point to point with participation. That's the index that the money will be growing according to. And on this, it's showing an 85% bonus. So point to point from the first day to the last day, if there was growth, any type of rate of return, they then multiply that rate of return by 85%. So this is an 85% bonus, right? Now you might ask, well, why didn't you do the one that's 165, 195, or any of the other ones, right? Well, this one doesn't have any fees, okay? And it's a 1 year point to point, okay? Now, 2 year point to point basically means this, that their money won't move from day 1, day 365, day 365. They have to wait 2 whole years before getting any money credited. And it's my experience that most people, even if you tell them that that's what's going to happen, they're not built mentally strong enough. All they see is, man, my money hasn't moved in 2 years. What the hell, right? So I always go for 1 year, okay? So real quick, I showed him, I started off by saying the 1 year, okay, point to point, over the last 10 years is growing, okay, at 8.92%. Okay, so from December 2023 to December 13, it was 8.92%. Now, this middle category, this is a 20-year look back. So it's a 20-year window. And then they said, okay, over the last 20 years, what was the lowest 10-year period, right? And that was during 03 to 13. Okay. Now, what's significant here is this was during the 2008 crash, right? 2008 was dab smack in the middle, where the S&P lost 37%. So I would say, not only, sir, would you have not lost 1 red cent if you had your money here, you would have actually left that 10-year period with a 6.6% growth. Usually they're like, dang, that's awesome, right? That's the worst case scenario over the last 20 years. Now, the best case scenario over the last 20 years is 09 to 19, and it's 11.44%. So then what we did is I said, now that you know how it's performed, let me show you, okay, what I recommend for you. Now, we didn't select the income rider. Okay, now if I would have, okay, it would show here. And I can even draw it up after to show you what it looks like. But the reason I selected this one, does anybody know why I selected the Flex Accumulator besides Isabel? Priscilla?
This one you can start pulling out money immediately, right?
Year 1, yes, right? And that's what he said. I'm going to need it maybe August, October, so I can't go to year 2. So what I did is came here and I said, okay, so if you were to roll your money, by the way, some people, especially since you're new to this, why does it show all these zeros, right? And it says guarantee rate, because the only guarantee they're going to give you is that you'll never lose. It's the only guarantee that they're going to give you on this, right? Because it's an indexing product. That means you have a 0% floor and you can go to the moon. Well, we don't know what the moon looks like because we don't have a crystal ball. But every insurance company by law has to put this on there. They have to put what is the absolute worst case scenario, and that would be it. But we know that this has never happened in the history of Wall Street, right? So I passed that. Now let's look at here. So let's say you rolled over 400,000. Okay, you let it sit your first year. In second year, you're basically going to be able to take 10% of last year's ending value this year for income. So wherever it ended year one, so in this case, they're saying he would have grown by 90K, which is not unreasonable. I have stacks and stacks of summaries to show clients that that's real growth, okay? So if at the end of year one, he ended at 490,000, he would be able to take 49,000. So then what I did is I grabbed my calculator. I said, okay, well, 49,000 divided by 12 comes out to $4,000 a month, right? Okay, so let's go back to here. Boom. What if I put 4,000 here? So between this product, 4,000 and 32, that's like $7,000, right? We've now successfully replaced his income with his guaranteed income rider and his Social Security. Now, let's go back here. Does that mean it's 49,000 every year? No, because it's not a guaranteed income. It's based on the value of his particular product, right? And some years you have big growth plus his deduction for income. Some years you have no growth with his deduction for income. So what I typically do is I tell them a couple things. So, sir, a lot of times people ask me, what about my overall return on investment? So if you were to roll in 400,000, check this out. This is so cool. In 10 years, you would have lived on 393,000 and you would still have 364,000 in the account, right? That's pretty badass, right? They're like, dang, that's pretty darn good. So the idea here is over the course of 10 years, 39,000 would be the least amount. Again, going based on historical data. So I would say 39,000. We'll go in here and say 39,351 divided by 12 comes out to 3,200. So if I go back here, 32 and 32 is 64. We still beat, you replaced your income. So even the worst case scenario with this product, you're gold, but he doesn't have a guaranteed income, right? It's just living off of the 10% because the flex accumulator, right, gives you access to your money year one, but you have 10% access to the money starting at year 1 through 10. In year 11, you have full access to your money. Most people, my recommendation would be to continue to live off 10%, right? But again, it's not my money, so you never know what people do. So I showed him this, but then this is what I did. I said, sir, can I ask you a question? He said, sure. I said, is there any way that you could possibly get to year 2 without taking money from this account? And he was like, yeah, he started telling me all this stuff. And he said, why? I said, okay, because we have a product that's a deferred income product, okay? It's called the Power Accumulator. Now, this product is built all for growth. It's like a beast, right? Now, first off, this one has 175% bonus. So whatever the rate of return is, you can actually grow it by 175%, right? So actually, hold on. Let me show you one other thing that's pretty cool. Let me grab the other one. So I drew that one up for him. But there's something that I actually learned new that I want to share with you guys. And Priscilla, pay attention to this because I know I haven't trained you on this yet. I just learned it. Let me see if I have this other one in the folder. No, I'm going to have to draw up a quick illustration, but maybe it'll be a good exercise for you guys to see. Can y'all see the screen? Okay, so let's go here. Show you guys how to run a quick illustration. So I just go back to his, right? Because he has illustrations. Here's Bert. Click on that. And I'm going to run the power accumulator, okay, with 400,000. And I'm going to change the allocation to make sure we're doing this. That's the one that we want, okay? Balance asset 10, okay? 1 year point to point with participation, okay? Actually, take that back. Boom. Let's go here. So balance asset 5, 1 year point to point with participation. And then there's another one with a charge option. I'm going to show you what you can do, which is pretty cool. Those of you guys that like participating whole life, how many of you guys like participating whole life because people can actually buy up more addition? They can buy up more dividends, right? They basically can buy their way into more money. There's an actual option on that with the annuities. And I don't want to say now, but apparently I didn't know. So again, you don't have to be the sharpest tool in the shed to know how to make this happen. So let's say balance asset 5, no charge, okay? So let me go back real quick and do the exact same thing, but now I want to change the allocation to with the charge. And I want to show you guys, this is actually what I showed him, but for some reason it didn't save in the deal here. So let's go 400K, power accumulator 10 with charge. If I can spell. Okay. So let me show you how cool this is, guys. Whoa, crap. I don't know what happened there. Sorry. Let's try that again. All right, so the ones that I just put together today, right here. Okay, so first thing I did is I told him, if you could wait, okay, can you guys still see the screen in its entirety? Okay, so if you can wait for till year 2, okay, this particular product is built for growth. And the first one I showed him is this one. It's got 1 year point to point with 175% growth, okay? So we went down here and I show him this one is actually showing at 9.10. The other one was 8.9. So it's a little better, right? But if you can wait till year 2, okay, the income's 48, right? Remember the lowest 10 years that I showed him before was 39. Now it's 40, okay? So that's kind of like, I mean, that's a couple dollars, right? To wait, not that big of a jump. Well, here's what I recently found. So if I were to go and select the 1 year point to point, okay, with a charge, you're basically buying more participation points, okay? So instead of 175, now he can actually buy more bonus for 1.25%. So when you go and look at it now, he has the ability to grow at 11.83, right? And then if you go back here, okay, now his income is 51,000 to start, right? Lowest income he can look at is 45, right? So he was like, man, that's pretty cool. Now, what's cool about this way, guys, is that bump up charge, okay, is annually. You can choose to turn it on or off every year, as opposed to a guaranteed income rider, which is on the account every year, no matter what, come hell or high water, whether you use it or not. So if you decide that you want a guaranteed income rider at the very beginning, but maybe you don't flip it on till year 8, every year from 1 to 8, you're going to get charged 1.25. Here, he can say, you know what, let's do it. Year 1, I want to do this and get a 230% bonus. Coming into year 2, he could say, you know what, no, forget it. Year 2, let's just do this one, right? So he can flip on and off at any given time so that he can grow with more participation. Now, I'll give you an example, and this is actually what he brought up to me. He said, so I think, and I actually agree with him. He goes, I think year 2 of the Trump administration is going to blow. Like it's going to just explode. Year 1, he's got a lot of cleaning up to do, but year 2, a lot of things are going to explode. So you mean to tell me that in year 2, I could buy more participation points? So that way I just take the growth of the market, which he believed was going to be big anyways, and then multiply it by an even higher percentage on participation. I was like, yes. So he's like, man, that's awesome. So the whole purpose of going through this exercise, guys, we didn't really go over a guaranteed income rider. Maybe I'll do that next and I'll compare income rider to just the 10%. But this was a real scenario that I went over with a client. And I think he's just going to go with the flex accumulator because he'd have to do like a tremendous amount of sacrifice for like 2 months and have to wait to take his money year 2. But he really loved being able to understand the different options. So once again, quick round robin. Let's do a quick one. We only have 8 minutes left based on the client scenario, anything that we covered. Let's start with Eduardo.
Honestly, I just like that last part, the different options of buying that participating. That's like the biggest thing that I have, something